Hi guys, thank you so much for all of your feedback, all of your video ideas, and for tuning into my very first video. So this is the look that I just filmed. It is my rendition of my no makeup look. So if you are interested in seeing how I achieve this look, then continue to watch. All right, you guys, so we're going to go right ahead and get started. I've already done my brows for the sake of time off camera, and I concealed my eyelids with MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NC42. I have hyperpigmentation, so that does help with my lids. Now I'm taking the Anastasia Beverly Hills Jackie Aina palette in the shade Ginger, and I'm going to be using that shade as a transition shade all over my lids. This is a light shade and it is very blendable, so I'm going to blend that out all over both of my lids. I just want a little bit of color back into my eyes, not too much, because again, this is supposed to be a no makeup look. So we are just going to use windshield wiper motions and a mixture of circular motions to blend the product out so that we have an even base all over our lids and in our crease. And once I have that blended to my liking, I am going to go in with the same palette in the shade Credit. And I'm going to use that darker brown shade to deepen up my outer V just a little bit. We're not going for a full glam look at all. We are just going for a little bit of dimension and depth in the eyes. So we're not going to be doing a whole lot to the eyes, but we will make them sort of glamorous neutral, if you will. And I'm just taking that shade and I am applying the color first. And then you'll see as I apply the color, I'm kind of also blending it out as well. So I'm using motions to get the color on to my desired pigmentation and then blending it out. Again, we're not heavy beading. This is not one of those get ready with me to go out looks. This is just a look you can wear if you're hanging out, if you're doing makeup for work, any of the time that you want to wear makeup. This is a simple look. It's not meant to be very heavy. It's just something like a wash of color over your eyes. I guess you can call this like a neutral makeup look. You don't want too much color in your eyes. And when I'm satisfied with my outer V, I'm going to go back in the Jackie Aina palette and I am using the shade Soleil, and I'm just using that for a little bit of shimmer over my mobile lids. Again, not too much, just a little something so that I look a little glamorous, but very neutral, very work appropriate, very hanging out with the girls appropriate, very I just feel like doing my makeup appropriate. I've actually worn a similar look like this to work. Again, it's a little bit shimmery on camera because of the lighting, but once you blend it out, it just gives you a little something, not a lot at all, just a little something on the eyes. And here's what the look looks like. Pay no attention to the tag that's on my shirt. I love the shirt. I just got it and I didn't realize I hadn't popped the tag off. So as you can see, once you blend it out, you can barely see the shimmer. Now I'm taking my Benefit Cosmetics Bad Gal Bang mascara, one of the best mascaras, hands down. It really does work to give you a little va voom to the lashes without having to apply falsies. Again, this is a look that you can wear to work or wherever. So if you're wearing it to work or you're wearing it for a meeting, you don't want to have long lashes on. So you want a little lash look so you can beef up your own lashes. As you can see a little bit, they definitely work to beef up the lashes without having to wear false lashes in the office, especially if they have policies against such things. So now I'm just going to work to apply the mascara until I'm satisfied with the way they look. And as you can see, when I lift my eyes up, it definitely works to give you a little bit of length, a little bit of volume, but they are not cakey. They are not full of product. It's a nice, even application. So that's what the eyes look like. And now we're going to take my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. This primer, if you have oily skin, is bomb. Now I see my tag. But anyway, this primer is bomb. It's really good for just holding on to the makeup throughout the day. It is really, really good for oily skin or combination oily. So check it out if you don't already have it in your list of makeup that you wear, but definitely check it out. It is worth it. It keeps the makeup on all day. It should definitely be in your makeup kit for all my artists or beauty gurus or just makeup lovers. It definitely sticks hold to the makeup and it does not move. Once it's on, the makeup does not budge. It's one of my favorite primers. And now I am taking the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I am using two shades because I'm not quite my winter shade anymore and I'm not quite my summer shade. So I'm taking the shades Brulee and Warm Sand, and I'm going to mix one pump or about a half a pump, of each together to get my actual shade. I really can just go with Warm Sand by itself, but I like a little bit more color than that, so I just mix in the Brulee just to give me a little bit more color. And I'm just taking a clean brush to get the product on my face. I am taking my beauty blender and I am going to just pat and kind of swirl all over my face. You'll see me do this for about the next minute or two. I'm not going to trim it, just so you can see what it really looks like to do your makeup. And I don't use a lot. As you saw, I use just about 3 or 4 dots all over my face, and then I blend it out. Of course, if you want more coverage or if you want a more full coverage look, you can go over it again. Once the first layer is blended in evenly, you can go in again and beef it up, make it more glamorous. But for the sake of the video, again, this is no makeup. I'm just going to put one nice layer all over it and make sure it's evenly blended into the skin. I really love the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and I highly recommend it because it is very skin-like. It's not really going to cake you out. It's not going to give you super duper full coverage. So this is definitely like everyday appropriate. It's just like your skin but better. As you can probably already tell, I'm experiencing a horrible breakout from a new product I tried, and this does a really good job of concealing and kind of covering up the marks that I have on my face. Now, I really broke out in my cheeks, so I'm just adding a little bit more of the product in the cheek areas just to get rid of the texture and the redness that is in my face. I could have color corrected, but honestly, it's gimmicky in my opinion, and it's not necessary, where you can just take, just a few more drops of foundation and kind of just go over it one more time, just making sure that you got the coverage you want. Again, you know your face, so if you want less or more, it's up to you. But for me, I like a little bit more coverage in the cheek area since I am experiencing a bit of a reaction to a product that I've been using and will no longer use. So as you can see, I take my time. It takes about 2 to 3 minutes on average just to make sure that your foundation is nice and blended. And now I'm taking the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer, and I'm using the shade Warm Sand. I really like this because The concealer is not exactly on par with the actual foundation color. It is made to highlight under the eyes, so it's a little, about a hair or so lighter. And I'm just taking a few dabs underneath my eyes, right above my nose, and a little bit above my cupid's bow. Again, I'm not going runway fabulous. It's just enough to give me a little bit of highlight. And I'm using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist to get the concealer to move around the way that I want it to move. You want to make sure, even though I'm making that weird face, you want to make sure you really get in the creases and really blend that out, because that prevents creasing. So if you're experiencing creasing underneath your eyes, make sure you're really blending and getting in between the crevices of your eyes. That definitely helps a lot when you are blending your concealer out. And I don't use a lot, again, just a little in each section. You don't need a whole lot if you're just trying to do kind of a neutral makeup look. And just make sure you take that extra 30 seconds to blend. I know we're getting ready for work in the mornings or wherever we're going, but 30 seconds does help. Now I'm taking the Maybelline Fit Me powder, and I'm using the shade Medium Deep, and I'm going to use that to set that under eye concealer. You want to make sure that you're setting it to prevent creasing throughout the day and prevent the concealer from moving. Now, I know on other channels or videos, you see people baking and letting it sit for a few minutes, and everybody has their preference. I'm not knocking it, but for me, I just take a light coating of the powder and press it in. I press it in and kind of blend using the Beauty Blender, because for me, it gives me a more natural coverage. It still sets my concealer. It also helps me stay pretty matte throughout the day. Again, I'm pretty oily in the T-zone, but that powder does help to keep the concealer on a little bit longer. So now I am taking my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium Deep. And again, I don't want my foundation to move while I'm at work or wherever I am with this look. So I'm going to take a face brush and I am going to just set the foundation. I'm setting everywhere that I did not apply concealer. So just the foundation areas. And the Mineralized Skin Finish is a very, very light powder. It's not going to add much coverage at all. It is just going to give you a more saturated look in terms of the foundation. So it's going to keep the foundation in its place all day. And then I like to take what's left over on a brush and kind of just dust over the areas that I applied the setting powder, because it helps me not to look so cakey. So I like to do that just as the finishing touches on the setting powders. Now I'm going to take my Fenty Beauty powder, and this is the Filter Bronzer, I think it's called. I think it's called the Sun Filter Bronzer, and it's in the shade Caramel Cutie. I love this shade. This shade is so pretty in person. My camera really doesn't do it too much justice, but I'm just taking an angled brush and I'm going to go right in my jawline just to bronze a little bit. People also call this contour, and if you were using a contour powder, you could call it a contour. I am just adding a little bit more color back into my face. Again, with the foundation, because you put it all over the place, it does take away the natural definition of your face. So I'm just using the bronzer, not to really give myself more color, but just to add that definition back into my face. And I blend that out really good. Again, if you need to know where to put that, you can just take your finger and feel for the cheekbone. I kind of put it right below the cheekbone. I also use my forehead just a little bit because my natural colors are a bit darker around the perimeter of my face. So I'm just putting those that bit of darkness back into the perimeter of my face. You want to make sure you blend this out so that your face does not look like a puzzle, but a well-oiled machine. You want to make sure everything blends together. And a little trick for us plus-size girls, I got a little extra. If you want your face to look a little bit slimmer, go underneath that chin so that it will be nice and snatched. Now I'm going to take my highlighter, and I'm using the MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in the shade Beaming Blush. I love this color. This color is light. It doesn't give you that hard, glittery, chunky glitter highlighter. This is a nice sheen. It's just going to give you a little bit of glow, not too much. You may not see your highlighter from the moon, but you will be nice and glowy and pretty. It's a very, very nice one. And I just put that on the high points of my cheeks. And I also put it a little bit on my nose. And as you can see, as I'm turning my head and then applying it on my nose, you can see just enough. I don't want to be beaming to the moon, but I want to be nice and neutral. So I just put it on until I am satisfied with the way that it looks. And as you can see, it just gives you a little something, not a whole lot, just a little glow. Make it look like you're glowing from within. Yeah, I think I was feeling myself in that moment. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of that Beaming Blush Highlighter and I'm going to put that in the inner corner of my lids. It's just another way that I like to highlight. It brings light to that area just to make it a little bit more glowy. Again, it's optional. If you don't want to do that, then you would skip that step. I'm also going to go back into the Jackie Aina palette and I'm going to take that shade Ginger and I'm going to take a pencil brush and go on my lash line, my lower lash line. I like that look instead of liner. It's a softer look and it kind of brings the eyes together in my opinion. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that ginger shade in my lower lash line. And again, some people use liner and mascara, but I feel like if it's a neutral look, then you would skip that step. I am now taking the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist and just applying that all over my face to get rid of the powderiness and to make sure everything is set in its place. And then I'm looking pretty good. And you can use your hands to kind of let it dry. I use this little Dollar Tree fan that I got and just it quickly dries everything in. It kind of helps to set the mist a little bit quicker. I love that. You can get it at your closest Dollar Tree. They are $1 and I love it for setting my makeup. Don't say I didn't put you on. I also take the Fix Plus spray. The Morphe setting spray for me doesn't last all day, so I just do a second lock in with the Max Fix Plus spray, and that also gets rid of any powderiness and gives you back your natural glowy look. Now I'm just taking my fan again and just locking the setting spray into my face, making sure it dries up and that it doesn't remain like this wet feeling on my face. Now I am taking just a gloss, and this is a Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. Again, because we're doing a neutral look, I won't do any colors or any liners. I'm just going to put a little bit of gloss to enhance my natural lip color. And I'm going to leave it at that. This shade is actually really nice under other colors or alone by itself. It is just a neutral gloss that any and everyone can wear. Now I'm just fixing my 2-day-old curls or day-old curls that are falling. And that is the completed look. So I hope you guys learned some tips and tricks from me. I hope this was useful. If you imitate the look, let me know. Send me pictures. Please make sure to like this video. Leave your comments about how you like the video or any feedback, any suggestions that you have. Stay tuned for next week's video. If you have any suggestions for next week's video, please leave them in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning into my very first video, and have a good night. Bye.